Thomas and Anish, I would just request you to give your short, brief intros to me, along with talking about your roles at TP, what new projects you are handling, and what new innovations is happening at TP right now.
Super, Punamit. Very nice to meet you. I'm Thomas. I'm the Global Deputy CEO. TP is one of the leading global digital business services companies. We have closed last year with more than 10 billion euros in revenue. We are present in almost 100 countries around the world and have almost 500,000 colleagues working around the world about customer care, sales, collection, all vertical integrated services for many of the largest renowned brands in the world. India is our largest market, and that's why I'm very happy to be with Anish today, Gurgaon. And Anish, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Okay, hi. Hi, Poonam. Anish, I run the India business, which is, as Thomas said, is one of the largest regions for TP, and where we serve more than 100 international clients, most of them in the Fortune 2000 firms. And also we serve more than 100 clients of Indian origin. So again, the biggest names, and that's what I do. Been with TP for more than 2.5 years, and I've been just given additional responsibility to lead also the AI function for the company.
Great. Thank you so much for your introductions. I'd like to start from the questions, and I'd like Thomas to take my first question. So, TP had made a significant investment of $13 million in its AI SANIS, which is exclusive for reseller rights and real-time speech understanding technology. So how has this partnership aligned with the broader vision of your AI integration and customer experiences services?
So as you know, AI is not a new topic to TP. So we have worked over the last years on hundreds of AI projects within the company. We have launched many AI solutions and microservices for our clients across the world. But yes, we announced this year an additional program. It's an investment program of 100 million for this year in AI partnerships. And SANIS was the first announcement. The idea is to create an open ecosystem with targeted partnerships of leading AI companies in their respective field to really create win-win situations where we partner with them on the development of their solutions, on their go-to-market strategy, and sort of partnering them of the development for the benefit of our clients. SANIS is a real-time speech translation company that basically enhances the understanding between two people on a telephone line, and it allows us to increase using really cutting-edge AI technology with very little latency, the understanding between two people. We started actually using SANIS last year in India. So I let Anish a little bit talk about the experiences with them. But after we saw the positive results it has for our own people, as well as for our clients, we decided the partnership level invested in SANIS in the beginning of this year.
Right. My next question is, TP has run with the approach of high-tech, high-touch. So with the increasing integration of AI in customer interactions, how have you kept the human element uncompromised?
Exactly as you said, we really believe that in a world that will have AI ubiquitous in everything we do, having real-time human intelligence, emotional empathy will be more valuable than ever. So we really believe in this power of AI and EI at the same time. Yes, humans will be augmented by AI. They will have agentic AI co-workers, but the human connection, the emotional attachment between a human talking to a human cannot be replaced by AI. So that's why we're working relentlessly of blending, orchestrating this human interface with the AI interface for many of our clients. And we see there's a lot of interest because, yes, AI is, in particular with the generative AI and the large language models, a new topic that has really created a lot of momentum over the last 2 years. But the relevance of a human connection I think, and you see this also happening more and more, is seen as irreplaceable by an agentic AI solution as of today.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for answering that. Coming from an India standpoint, I believe Anish will be able to give me better understanding that with the introduction of these AI tools for speech technology, how are you preparing and upskilling the Indian workforce to adapt to the changes and ensure that the employee satisfaction and engagement remains safe?
Great question, Poonam. And actually, it's gotten better. Now, I'll give you a bit of context before I straight away give you the answer. See, India has been the destination of knowledge work for decades. And given that from language standpoint, our planet is extremely diverse, there has always been, while you are resolving a problem or solving customer queries, language creates a barrier if it is not equally understood between, let's say, the client, the customer, and the person who's supporting it. So, we have reduced the reliance on agents to upskill dramatically on the language skills and brought a tool to their advantage, and that has resulted into higher customer experience and improved resolution as well, because the customer is not getting frustrated for not understanding. So that's the first one. It reduced the stress dramatically in the interaction itself. Secondly, because now that the stress has gotten reduced and this reliance on language skills to be better has reduced, India is seeing far more work come to us. So India always was seeing it, but now we are competing with any other very good English speaking destination country, and India is as good as anywhere else. Secondly, for the other tools which are beyond language technology, now when you solve a complex query, it takes months and months to train somebody on complex resolution case or the problem case that the client might be experiencing. Let's take an example. Let's say if you are a Samsung TV and suddenly it has developed a defect. When you call, let's say, Samsung, that person needs to understand not just the technology specifically for TV, but also needs to understand in the past how has TV gone wrong, or what are the typical defects that have come up and how we need to respond. Now, depending on the agent and their technical qualification, they may come up with different answers, creates inconsistent customer experience. And now we have these agentic AI solution. The moment, let's say, if I call and you are resolving the query on your side, based on what I have called you for, it will be converted into speech to text. That text will go and check what is the query being asked for and give you possible options. Say, okay, these are the 3 options possible. Why don't you check that from the customer? Again, it gets to the answer very, very quickly. The first resolution on the call goes up dramatically. And in the end, customer goes back far happy because, the query got solved. I'll give you one example. Now you repeat across the industry. Let's say you missed a flight. You're going for your vacation to Switzerland, you missed a flight. You call back into, let's say, Swiss Airlines saying you missed your flight, what to do? Now the agent on the other side doesn't need to ask you 10 questions. Depending on the time of the call that you called, depending on your history or you purchased the ticket, the agent will already know that you might have missed the flight and therefore will start to give you alternative options. And at the same time might even book the flight for you. So it has dramatically changing how an agent is now qualified to solve many, many queries. And I'll tell you interestingly, let's say British Airways was doing this work in India, and a lot of high complexity work was being done, for example, in the UK. Now, because we are able to bring this technology in, solve the query end to end, the empowerment for the agent goes up quite a bit. So now agent is solving end-to-end query and not sending it to the ticketing department or the change department or, asking for credit card information, etc. All of that's been done by the agent itself. So it has resulted into very high quality of work and very high empowerment for our agents. Obviously, the training structure has completely changed now. You don't need to train somebody on just a small thing. You need to train somebody on end-to-end, but you now have assisted tools. And how do you best leverage the technology that is at your disposal? So those are the changes that are happening, and I can tell you with a lot of confidence that next 3 to 4 years for India and for our industry in India is going to be terrific.
I mean, if you zoom up what Ashish just said, in a world where experience are increasingly important, no? Because more and more it's digital, more and more it's about a instant feedback, an instant resolution of a problem that you're facing. Supercharging people with AI allows really to focus more on these improved, increased in experiences. I think it's quite exciting how the industry is evolving by coupling a human intelligence, a human capability with these increased AI tools, and they come across the entire life cycle, as Ashish just said, by driving better outcomes for not just for the customer, but creating a better experience also for our employees as well. So I think it's really quite exciting how AI empowers this intimacy that we've seen evolving over the last years.
Right. Thank you so much for answering that. One thing I would like to mention is the customer service marketplace is itself a very human-centric market. Like, I would like to get my problems resolved by a human correspondent rather than an AI chatbot. So what kind of a response have you got from your Indian clients or global clients in terms of integrating AI in customer service, and regarding the balance you have created between automation and personalized services?
It depends completely on the use cases. That's the beauty. For a routine task where you maybe just need a transactional information, you might want to interact with an AI-empowered voice bot. If it's a more complex task, if you're upset because your flight was delayed or your package has not arrived, so you have an angry customer, maybe you seek out to a human, who can address that emotional concern and sort of not just provide a transactional information, but a human connection with the other person. So we see a huge variety of different tasks, not just on the voice channel, but also on chat, social media, what have you. And I think the orchestration, the ability to maneuver a customer inquiry between the human interface, an augmented interface, or completely an automated AI interface is one of the core capabilities that we're building STP. Because the world is complex, no? Even in a few years from now, you will have humans talking to humans, AI talking to AI talking to humans, and this orchestration implementation will be increasingly important.
I think interestingly, Poonam, that how different organizations are looking at it, they see AI as an extension of their arsenal where they can increase the customer loyalty. Now, it is actually not coming as much from the cost. Obviously, cost is always an element because you are solving more queries in using this tool. But if you are able to increase the loyalty and therefore impact your future revenue and your profitability, that's a huge enabler. And you look, for example, let's take an example of Amazon. Okay, you have placed an order. Now, suddenly you realize that you wanted that phone in the evening, and phone is a high involvement purchase. You really want it in the evening. You want to use it and you're excited about it. And it's 6 p.m. the phone hasn't arrived. What will you do? You'll immediately call Amazon and then you'll figure out, okay, where the phone is. But the agent who will take your call actually doesn't know where your phone is because it might be in the transit somewhere. Now, using the AI that we are bringing to enable such interactions, now agent can actually go and track, has it left the warehouse, how far is it from your home, and are you likely to get it in the next 45 minutes? And then he will also ask you, by any chance, is there a probability that you won't be at home? And if you're not at home, then would you want me to deliver with your neighbor, or you want somebody else to collect on your behalf? Now, it has happened that there is zero chance of you missing the delivery. While it started from you being unhappy because you haven't gotten the phone, suddenly you are happy because such a personalized service is coming to you. So next time when you choose to order, you will rather choose Amazon than somebody else. I'm just giving Amazon as an example or retail industry as an example. But such pervasive cases are now coming up everywhere.
Right. While we are talking about AI, I want to touch upon the recent discussion that sparked the market was the use of AI to modify accents of humans. So it somewhere raises questions around cultural identity and authenticity. So how do you address these concerns and improve communication clarity?
What we are trying to achieve is not to modify an accent. I think this would be a wrong statement. It's about removing friction. It's about understanding each other better. It's about making sure that the human connection we have, we're now talking over video on the phone, making sure that it's frictionless. Part of the Sanas technology, for example, is noise cancellation. It's taking out friction. The improvement of a better understandability between two people allows, on the opposite, I would say, what you said, Poonam, is to ensure a better human connection, to ensure understandability. It's not about creating two artificial avatars talking to each other, but if we want to have humans across different cultural backgrounds, different language backgrounds, speaking to each other the same language, we want to make sure that this is as frictionless as possible, because that allows a better human connection. And I think based on the results we have seen, people have the options to take Sanas on and off, and they almost 100% decided to leave it on because it ensures this better frictionless communication that increases human empathy rather than reducing it.
Thank you, Thomas, for answering that. While we are talking about reducing the friction, there also comes the concerns around transparency between the clients and the customers. So are your customers informed well about the AI tools you have been using during the interactions? And how do you maintain the privacy and build the trust factors while assisting during the communications?
Great question, and a tough question. I'll admit. See, customers, because the proliferation of platforms and tools, customers are typically unaware of what tools are being used for servicing their queries. And you have to keep that in context. Is AI is just one another tool that's available. Previously, when you are getting a call, you're using many tools for call to go from A place to B place. There are source systems that the banks use. Typically, customers are least interested in that. AI being a new technology, it has heightened sensitivity around it. So therefore, there is a need that's being felt that, you need to inform that, these are the 5 tools that you're using and AI is being one of them. I think that's a temporary phase which will go away of that itself. However, there are bigger things that are played that we need to address. How is the customer data being used? Are we using customer data from A customer to service B customer? Are we using data from within a client to learn the engine and transferring it to B client? That's where the privacy concerns come. And there we are doing very, very strong gatekeeping to ensure A customer doesn't see B customer data, or A big company doesn't see B company data. So there are very strong walls being built so that is avoided. And there are 2 parties, actually 3 parties who are playing that role. One is a company like us. We completely maintain different operating centers. We maintain different logical and network separation of 2 different operations as far as 2 clients are concerned. Clients are doing it as well. And at the back is the most important player, people who are generating large language models, and they're using, that data across multiple industries and across the clients within an industry to train their engine. They are also under their fiduciary responsibility to ensure they are not using identifiable data, and they're using a lot of synthetic data to train their engines. And it is actually beyond our remit to go to that level of, open AIs of the world and so on and so forth, and address the question on their behalf. What we can do is answer how TP and our peer group is trying to address the privacy concerns and how our clients are doing it. And on that, we are fairly confident that we are not letting the data sit by between 2 different clients and 2 different customers.
But rest be assured, of course, all applicable data privacy laws, we comply to them. We work in very close collaboration with our clients to make sure that the tools we use are in accordance with them. And we just actually had the discussion today. So we have a framework and a board of ethical use of AI within TP to make sure that on our end, we do everything that is possible within our area of responsibility so they have an ethical approach.
Thank you so much. Thank you both of you for touching upon the data protection part. I was about to ask around it. So you mentioned about the framework that you are working on. Can you provide me a little more details about it? Like what kind of a technological framework you have in terms of data protection, and also to comply with the global data protection regulation, which varies from nation to nation?
So we operate, as I said, almost in 100 countries. You have GDPR in Europe, you have the India privacy laws. Of course, we have a whole team of the respective specialist making sure that this is 100% compliant, because that's also the source of our license to operate. We are data processor on behalf of our clients in making sure that all cybersecurity, data privacy, and respective data laws are completely complied with. If we wouldn't do so, you can be assured we have more than 1,500 enterprise clients around the world. They would not entrust their most valuable resource they have, their relationship with their end customer, essentially in our hands. So it's an absolutely crucial component of our license to operate.
Just one more point I had to add there, Poonam. We do not store customers' data on our servers. The customers' data is in clients' system that we access, and we use it to solve the queries that their customer might be asking, but we do not transfer that data to our systems, and that keeps us protected. Secondly, especially in case of GDPR, a lot of processing actually happens within Europe. So they disallow any transfer of data even for processing out. So we comply with those laws, and I'm so proud that India has come up with their own data protection laws, which is even far more far-reaching and much more sophisticated that exists, and we are already in compliance with those regulations.
Thomas, as we can see, there's the growth, the AI trajectory is growing like exponentially. So as the AI continues to evolve, how do you see the employment vertical within the customer service industry? What step is TP taking to mitigate the potential job displacement?
So this is a question I got quite often, as you can imagine, from media journalists, but also investors. And I do believe people always look at a static picture. If you have a given process, and yes, you can use AI, it can be automated, of course. But that's true if you think about it for the last 20 or 30 years, how technology, self-service portals, app has allowed to drive automation. 6-7 years ago, we had all the discussion about RPA. So on a given process, yes, you will see efficiency gains. But the picture is much wider. You have in evolving needs, job profiles, tasks that you do to reinvest in customer intimacy, emotional intelligence, to focus more on complex tasks, to do up and cross-selling, to spend more time to drive up customer experience. It's changing the profile of the agents. Secondly, the type of work we do is also changing. AI itself is a source of new employments. We don't live in a static world, but we deploy today one of our growth focus area within TPAIs, the AI data services. So you can imagine how much work is necessary to train AI. And we as a global digital service company have there a big opportunity to drive new work for our people of training AI models, making them better, trying to optimize data, annotate data labeling in that area. So on a dynamic picture, I do see a lot of opportunities in the AI world for us as a BPO company. Yes, on a static picture, there will be efficiency gains. But on a dynamic picture, if we see also how the type of work we are doing has changed dramatically over the last 10 years and will change also in the next 10 years from now.
And Poonam, I'll give you India context on this with two important data points. A lot of industry reports, including NASSCOM and Indian government, has published reports that in 2025, AI-related services, its impact on India GDP will be 500 billion. 500 billion. So that's 10% of our country's economy. So that's going to be huge for us. So India is going to grow leaps and bounds with the help of AI. Secondly, Stanford did a study of all the global workforce, including India, and they came up with an index. The index is what is our average AI awareness in our global workforce. And they said, okay, the average is 1. Where are different countries? India is rated 2.8, ahead of US, ahead of China, which are the second and third. So we have great impetus being brought on our growth because of AI, and we are most qualified as a country, our workforce is most qualified as a country to contribute to the success of it. So I believe it's a great story, but it is, now let's step back. It's not just a great story for India. It's a globally a great story because AI is adding so much more top potential to grow and build new service lines that never existed before. So you can look at it from two different ways. I believe by itself, AI is going to unleash a lot of new things, new opportunities for the companies and for the employees. Yes, there is sort of, from employment standpoint, you can say some tasks will get automated, but that's been the story for the last 25, 30 years.
No, for the 2000 years.
Yeah.
I would you story if you see the change that technology has brought. And to add, because I must say, Poonam, we just interrupted a meeting that we had to Anish, and I'm a big fan of the work that he's doing here. We have a fantastic AI transformation analytics team in India. And if you see what they're building, and they're adding actually new people to the team and providing new opportunities, developing AI tools that are open with our BPO services. And so we're strengthening that team to drive solutions that carry across the entire world within TP. So there's a lot of competence that we can leverage due to the high AI literacy in India by using these tools. And these are completely new jobs that are complementing our existing team there. So that's, I would say, I'm very optimistic from that perspective.
Yeah, I was about to come on that apart from the speech technology, what new innovations does TP India has in the pipeline, and how do you envision the impact of it on the service delivery?
The beautiful thing, and if you think really on a meta perspective, what has all the generative AI and LLM done? They, for the first time, started to allow and crack the code on conversations. RPA was often focused on back office tasks. Now, and all the examples we just had in the meeting, it allows to tap into conversations in a meaningful way. How we can use AI technology of driving better outcomes, augmenting, as Anish said, conversation, knowledge database in conversation. So there will be, in a world where you have the ChatGPT part of driving a conversation, you don't necessarily have to type anything. Like this, if you do a recording, you can have a transcription of it. You can have a summary of it. You can generate a podcast of it. So we will have an explosion of conversations, and that's sort of the origin and the heart of TP as being the world's leader in customer experience of driving better interactions, conversations between a brand and its customers. So that's, I do believe, LLM was one of the blessing to really drive technological innovation in our sphere, in our core sphere of really customer interaction. So I think it's a blessing from that perspective.
Right. And are you collaborating with some of these startups as SMEs of India for these innovations?
Yes, for India.
Yes, almost 10 of them. And Sanas actually is public. There are 9 which are not public because we are in the different stages of doing proof of concepts along with them. And the great thing is because they have semi-developed products, they don't have clients and we have clients. So we bring them, they do a POC, and if it is successful, a POC meaning proof of concept, we take it to the client. It is good for our India, startup ecosystem, and it's great for us because then we have a differentiated value proposition. So we have almost partnering with about 9 more, and you will hear those names come out in the next, I would guess, between 8 to 10 weeks.
Thank you so much, Thomas and Anish. Thank you so much for your time and your insights. I really appreciate it. That were the questions I had for you. In case I need any other information, I'll just get in touch.
All right, Poonam. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. It was lovely to speak. Thank you.